Live from the campus of Washington and Lee University with news for Rockbridge County, this is the Rockbridge Report.
Welcome to the Rockbridge Report's continued live coverage of the Virginia's 2023 election. I'm Liz Trubeck.
And I'm Erica Kenny. Both chambers of the Virginia State Legislature are up for grabs tonight. Republicans came into tonight holding a 2-delegate lead in the House of Delegates, and Democrats came into the night with a 4-seat lead in the state Senate. Currently, 13 seats in the Senate have been reported, 8 for the Democrats and 5 for the Republicans. Voting is very important in today's election. And that is clearly seen with the votes. In the House of Delegates, currently 24 races have been decided for the Democrats, and 19 have been decided for the Republicans.
Now we'll take a look at how the local Senate and House of Delegate races are playing out. First up, for State Senate in the 3rd District overall, we have Christopher Head with 63% of the vote. There are currently 12,460 votes in. And then Jade Harris with 7,352 votes. She currently holds 37% of the vote. And we have 30 out of 102 precincts reporting so far. Now moving to a smaller part of the 3rd District, Buena Vista. We don't have any current information. There are no precincts reporting at this time. Now moving to Lexington, it looks like we do have some results. We have Jade Harris polling ahead with 66% of the vote, 971 to be exact, and Christopher Head has 499 votes, 34% of the majority, and we have 1 out of 2 precincts reporting currently. And then going to Rockbridge County, Christopher Head is in the lead with 71% of the votes, 748 of them. And then Jade Harris has about 311 votes, which makes up 29% of the majority. And there are currently 3 out of 18 precincts reporting. A lot of things will be impacting this election, so it's very important to be tuned in.
Yes, let's tune in now let's take a look at the House of Delegate races in the 37th and 36th districts, starting with the 37th district. Currently, Stephanie Clark is in the lead with 51% of the vote. She currently has 1,727 votes. Incumbent Republican Terry Austin is next with 1,637 votes. That is 49% of the vote in 37th district. This is with 5 out of 55 precincts reporting. Within this 37th district in Lexington, Stephanie Clark is also in the lead with 66% of the vote. That is with 970 votes. Republican incumbent Terry Austin is still trailing behind with 503 votes, with 34% of the vote. This is with 1 out of the 2 precincts in Lexington reporting. Still, in the 36th district, Republican incumbent Ellen Campbell is in the lead with 63% of the vote. She currently has 7,810 votes. Democrat Randall Wolf is trailing behind with 4,497 votes, with 37% of the vote. This is with 19 out of 31 precincts reporting.
When we come back with results coming in across the country, we'll bring you in on our 2 analysts to discuss what they mean.
I'm Kaden Buss, coming to you live from Salerno's, where Republicans are gathered here tonight to watch tonight's election results. Next up, I'll be live with local GOP Chairman Doug Smith to talk about how Republicans are feeling.
Welcome back to the Rockbridge Report's live election night coverage. I'm Erica Kenny. Now we are joined by our Kaden Buss, who is standing by at Salerno's, where local Republicans are waiting patiently for results in tonight's election. Kaden?
So, Doug, what local Rockbridge area House of Delegates and Senate races are you watching tonight?
We're watching to see how Ellen Campbell does in the 36th and Terry Austin in the 37th. I'm pretty confident they're going to prevail. I thankfully didn't see this as real tough races, and they should do well, even in new districts.
And then what statewide races are you watching that'll give Governor Glenn Youngkin a majority in both houses?
There's a state Senate race, Siobhan Dunavant. It's going to be pretty tight tonight. There's several others. I have a good friend, John Stirp. It's running for the House District 21 up in Northern Virginia. So that's where a personal friend comes in. But that's considered, if he wins that one, it's a good bellwether for the rest of the state. So.
And then if there were going to be any surprise races tonight, what do you think it would be?
I would say picking up more than 2 Senate races, that would be a nice surprise in Virginia tonight. So,
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, and then back to you guys in the studio.
thank you.
Thanks, Caden. Now we welcome back Republican analyst Henry Hayden and Democratic analyst Foster Harris, who will share their thoughts on the election results thus far. We have a couple of key races tonight. Kentucky voters will vote on new governor. Henry, tell us more about what's going on there.
Yeah, so we have Andy Beshear and Daniel Cameron. Andy Beshear is the incumbent governor in Kentucky. Daniel Cameron is a candidate endorsed by Trump. Currently, we're seeing a strong performance by Andy Beshear in the state. A lot of people are talking about, Tim Scott in particular was just on CNN talking about whether this is an indicator of Trump's influence on this race. But it's also worth noting that, in terms of the 2024 general election, Trump is polling up by 30 points on Biden in the state of Kentucky. So, this race is not necessarily reflective of all trends in the state of Kentucky, but, Beshear certainly has advantages as an incumbent there.
And Foster, how important is this race for Democrats?
I mean, this is a really important race. And as I said earlier, I mean, this is a race that could certainly propel Andy Beshear into the conversation in the national picture in the coming cycles. I think that's really important. The one thing that I would note is that turnout seems to be a problem for Daniel Cameron. It does not seem to be a problem for Andy Beshear. So he has used issues like abortion, right, to really energize his base in Kentucky and to continue and even build on his winning coalition from when he beat Matt Bevin.
And Foster, Mississippi is also holding its gubernatorial election. Does Democratic candidate Brandon Paisley have a shot at taking down incumbent Tate Reeves?
So there's a lot of unknown, right? So in 2020, Mississippians voted to change how they elect statewide officials. So previously, you had to win not only a majority in the state, you also had to win a majority of state house districts to win. That disenfranchised a lot of black voters. That change means that we simply don't know what's going to happen. What you need, if you are Presley, is you would need high black turnout along with low Republican turnout to win that election. But I think it might be closer than people would think. Also in Hinds County, they've received an injunction to keep those polls open longer. That is a Democratic stronghold in the state. That's really good for Democrats, given that there was a ballot paper issue there.
Henry, Governor Reeves received an endorsement from former President Donald Trump. Can you talk about any influence Trump might have had on this race and perhaps others?
Yeah, sure. So Trump hasn't been quite as involved in these races as he was in the last midterms. He hasn't been hosting massive, in-person rallies for these candidates. He's, hosted tele-rallies like he did with Glenn Youngkin in 2021. Of course, that is a big discussion point. People will likely blame failures on Trump if failures do occur. But, take that with what you will. Trump has not been involved as much in these races as he has in previous ones.
Here in Virginia, we have some important races on the line. Henry, how are the Republicans looking right now?
Well, Foster and I were just discussing it's the 31st district. The Democrats are looking pretty strong there, and possibly there could be a flip coming for them. We're also curious to see the race with Susanna Gibson, which is a controversial race given her scandal, and how things might turn out there. That's kind of what we've been discussing there. Yeah. Great.
Foster, how are the Virginia Democrats feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Democrats are happy that, it looks like we're looking strong in a Senate district like Senate District 16, right? That could be a flip. And so we're excited that we've been able to take this race in the offensive, especially with Governor Glenn Youngkin having so much personally at stake in this race. While there might be the Susanna Gibson example, I think the Democrats across the board really picked electable candidates. And so we're seeing that on election night.
Alrighty. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us again. Coming up on the Rockbridge Report, we'll update you on local election results and discuss the uncontested races in the area. Welcome back to the Rockbridge Report's live election night coverage in Virginia. We've got some updates for some tight races in Rockbridge County. Let's take a look at them. Up first, for treasurer, we have Missy Whitesell with 49% of the vote, 936 votes to be exact. And following her is Michelle Clark. She has 790 votes at 41%. And finally, Wendy Gilliam with 188 votes at 10%. There are currently 6 out of 18 precincts reporting. Moving on to the Board of Supervisors for the Buffalo District, we have Max Smith coming in ahead of the incumbent Ayers Leslie. Mac currently has 463 votes with 52%, whereas Leslie has 416 votes with 47%. Currently, 3 out of 5 precincts are reporting.
And for the school board in the Buffalo district of Rockbridge County, Ann Rusick is currently in the lead with 416 votes, with 51% of the vote. Leanne Oger is next with 47% of the vote. That is with 383 votes specifically. This is with 3 out of 5 precincts reporting.
Tonight, we also have 14 uncontested races between Rockbridge County, Lexington, and Buena Vista. 11 of the 14 races have just one candidate running for the position. This trend has affected positions as big as mayor. In Buena Vista, Tyson Cooper is running unopposed to replace Mayor Billy Fitzgerald, who is retiring after this term. There is no competition for Commonwealth's attorney, clerk of court, or sheriff for Lexington and Rockbridge County. Buena Vista has one candidate for treasurer on top of its uncontested mayoral race. In both VB and Lexington City, there are 2 candidates running for 2 spots as soil and water conservation district directors. In Glasgow, there are only 2 candidates for 3 open seats on town council.
Rockbridge County has 6 uncontested races of its own. Those races include a spot on the Board of Supervisors in both the South River and Natural Bridge District, a spot on the school board in both the Natural Bridge and Walker's Creek District, and uncontested races for the Commissioner of Revenue and for Soil and Water Conservation District Director. That wraps up our live 8:30 p.m. coverage of Election Night here in Virginia. We are currently monitoring the races in Buena Vista and Goshen. We have not received any results yet. Join us here on Xfinity Channel 18 at 9:45 p.m. for another live broadcast, where we'll share more results as the votes keep coming in. And stay tuned on our website, rockbridgereport.wlu.edu, for updates throughout the night.